Started in 2022, the Cleveland Indians will now be known as the Cleveland Guardians. The name change follows the NFL's Washington football franchise doing away with their moniker of Redskins a few years ago. Checking the big league scoreboard, the Cubs in the afternoon beat the Diamondbacks 8-3 at Wrigley. Games just getting underway. The Nationals in Baltimore to take on the Orioles. Atlanta and Philadelphia to battle the Phillies. Cardinals and Reds will square off in Cincinnati, Tampa Bay at Cleveland. Toronto in New York to battle the Mets. The Padres in Miami to take on the Marlins. The Yankees and Red Sox continue their series at Fenway. Later tonight, the Royals hosting the Tigers, the Rangers at the Astros, the Angels, the Twins, the White Sox and Brewers. A battle of first-place teams will take place in Milwaukee. Pittsburgh and San Francisco to take on the Giants. The Rockies in L.A. to battle the Dodgers. The A's in Seattle to tangle with the Mariners. Those are tonight's headlines. I'm Greg Sharpe.
Live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly on the Huskers Radio Network, bringing you the best Husker sports experience.
Kubik sends a pass, made Gonzalez. It's over the net. Shut back by Stubrins. It's in. They did it. Match point, big run. 15-10 in the fifth. Fighting back from the abyss, down 2 sets love. Nebraska claims opening night against Ohio State. 15-10 set 5. My goodness.
Lauren Stivrins is a great leader, and Lauren was talking to those guys through when we were struggling, and she got them to change their mindset. And then I think Lexi led the way and Nicklin, and so those are the guys that got to do that. Then it was fun to watch. We played Husker volleyball.
Sports Nightly is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down. Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Here we are, Friday night. Oh, I love Friday night in the summertime, right? You guys have all headed to your barbecues. You're laying around the pool right now. Maybe you're at a ball game. Well, high school softball and baseball has got to be wrapping up for the summertime. So if you're out there, maybe at your lake, maybe you're on your boat right now. We'll have fun, be out there. We'll entertain you for the next couple of hours. I mentioned in the ticker, the Big Ten Media Days are now finished. We will talk with our great affiliate member, KRVN's Jason Jorgensen, later on. He was in Indy the last couple of days. We'll get his take on what kind of the topics of the days were in Indy and how were the Huskers received. We'll talk to him in hour number 2. But Jessica, the story in college sports remains the earth shake that we heard earlier in the week that Texas and Oklahoma are going to be bolting the Big 12, going to the SEC. You've been kind of following this the last 48 hours. What have you been hearing today?
That it's pretty much seems like it's a done deal, that it's happening. And when the news first broke, and you and I were talking about it, and because this has happened a few times now where it's just a rumor and then it never comes to fruition. But more and more as once we heard the news and as we went along, it seems like, okay, this seems like it's pretty much a done deal. And then I think today the kind of the notion is that, hey, this is a done deal and it's happening.
There's been several reports that both schools are going to inform the league in the next 48 hours that they will be leaving at the end of their current rights deal, which is 2025. That's 4 years down the road. I think it will be pushed up. I don't think you stay together that long once you've decided to part. There's been reaction. We told you last night about a statement from the Texas Tech president. Oklahoma State's president / chancellor, Dr. Casey Schrum, put out a statement within the last hour. Quote, "We are disappointed with the lack of engagement and transparency from our colleagues at Oklahoma over the past months on a matter with serious ramifications for our state. We have historically worked together to advance our state and address issues based on a partnership built on trust." So some pretty strong words from the head of Oklahoma State.
Yeah, and I think, another thing that's kind of come out, especially today, is that this has been something that's been going on and being communicated between Texas and Oklahoma and the SEC through the back channels for quite some time now. So you're talking 6 months to a year that these conversations have been being had. And I think for people, and I'm from the state of Oklahoma, and it seems like this is really going to divide a state that's been pretty unified. And you think about some of the things that Oklahoma has gone through with tornadoes, with the bombing, and it's a pretty unified state. And for, I think from the Oklahoma State perspective, for them to not even be communicated with and kind of just have this, just really just dropped on them with no communication whatsoever. There's a lot of people upset. Another thing that I've kind of really been paying close attention to that people have been saying is that Oklahoma State, some of the people thought that maybe there would be a chance for them to come to the Big Ten, but I think you and I have talked about that's probably not going to happen. But I do think there were some Oklahoma State people that thought maybe there might be a chance for Oklahoma State to wind up in the Big Ten.
Kudos, first of all, to the folks at Oklahoma and Texas for keeping this quiet, and the SEC for keeping. I mean, this is the day and age of social media, and everybody's taking pictures of everybody walking in and out of buildings and all these type of things. How they've kept this secret for that long is amazing, isn't it?
Unbelievable, yeah, no doubt. And that's another thing. How did they were able to not let it leak? And it probably still would be under wraps if not for Texas A&M leaking it to try to stop this train from going so fast down the tracks. But yeah, and you think about why now, which we've kind of asked that question, and I think it's more so a move for the future down the line other than just the future for a couple of years. So you start thinking about, where college football and college sports are going 10, 20, 30 years from now. I think it's a move to think about that even more so than even just in a couple of years when this next TV rights comes up. Which we've talked about, Commissioner Sankey with the SEC, how he's been on top of this and he's making some power moves, and this is a big part of that, I think.
I'm fairly convinced this is going to happen. So now you go to the next step. What do the leftovers of the Big 12 do? That will be a huge focal point. And now what does the Big 10 do? What does Kevin Warren do next? The SEC and the Big 10 have constantly battled down through the years for supremacy in college sports. They've now gone to the 16-team league, provided that this happens. What's the reaction from the Big 10? Where do they go? How quickly do they go? Do they lay back and see what the fallout of this thing is, or are they aggressive and progressive and get out and try to get ahead of this thing? I think it'll be fascinating to watch.
To me personally, I don't think you have to make any rash moves like really quick on just to try to keep up with the teams that you would want because everybody's going to want into the Big Ten, right? I mean, this is a premier league. They want a part of it. I don't think you make any quick sudden moves just to keep up with the numbers wise. You want a quality kind of brand name team and program to join, and you never know how the dominoes are going to fall. To me, I would sit back and wait or go after Oklahoma and Texas, because a lot of it is that it's moving down the tracks. It's probably going to happen, but it's not a for sure done deal. It seems like last night in their meeting, a source said that it's not completely done yet, and there were some reports that maybe the ACC has reached out to Texas and Oklahoma. So if you can get those schools to maybe come to the Big Ten and continue to generate some more revenue when you're talking TV contracts, which is coming up very quickly as well. Otherwise, I think you kind of wait. If you're not going to get a really brand name marquee type of program, I don't think you just bring in people just to bring them in, right?
Absolutely. I think if you want to make a last-ditch plea to those two schools to join your league, you better get on it now.
Right.
Or 6 hours ago, or 12 hours ago.
Or 6 months ago.
Yeah, because you are behind the curve. And again, kudos to Greg Sankey, the SEC commissioner. He wanted something and went out and did it. And we'll find out in the end. It may take years to find this out, but I want to know who initiated this. Did it come from OU in Texas, or did Sankey make the first lob across? My gut tells me, Jessica, that it was Texas that probably made the first communique, and Sankey goes, well, yeah, we would sure love to have you. Who would you bring with you? Then I think they got Oklahoma involved. That's my gut. I may be totally wrong when this all gets washed out. But I'm really anxious what Kevin Warren, what the Big Ten does. I don't think you can sit back on your hands and just completely say, we'll see how it washes out. If you do, you may get lapped in the whole thing.
I also wonder, too, how the Longhorn Network might have played into this a little bit. I mean, it wouldn't be the whole decision, but, there's still a long time left on that contract. And with ESPN being already embedded with the SEC and already having the SEC network, maybe the Longhorn Network rolls into that SEC network. You kind of fold out the Longhorn Network because it has not been on either party for Texas or for the ESPN what they had kind of hoped it would be. So maybe that plays into it as well as, hey, you've got a contract with the Longhorn Network, ESPN, and Texas. How do you figure out a way to get out of it? And you would think maybe going to the SEC with the SEC network and the ESPN already having ties there, maybe that helps you get out of that a little bit too.
Jessica, I'm convinced ESPN's had a hand in this.
Yes.
Because the Longhorn Network has been a drain. It's been an anchor to them. They've lost money with it, and I think that they've had a seat at the table for some of these discussions. I'm convinced of that has taken place in this whole thing, and that makes sense. The TV partners write you the biggest checks that you get, and so to have them in there it makes perfect sense that did take place in that. Stephen in Lincoln says, any chance Missouri might want to make a move? I think there is a chance of that. I don't know that Missouri feels totally comfortable in the SEC. They've always kind of wanted to be a Big Ten member, and I think that could be a possibility. And, boy, that would be a coup if you poached one of their members. I think that would be certainly really something to brag if you're the Big Ten. Absolutely.
And supposedly the word is that Missouri is in with A&M of not being for this.
True.
So if they're already unhappy with the move anyways, and how does that play into their contract? I mean, is it kind of the same thing where, okay, if you're bringing schools in, does that mean I can move out? At the same token, like, do I have to give you a certain amount of notice? What am I losing out on this deal? I don't know. I mean, with how the ins and outs and the details of what goes into that contract, how easily they can get out if they're making changes to what they signed up for.
Right. How about this? Missouri exits. OU pulls OSU with them, and then it's 3 teams from the Big 12 go to the SEC because Missouri exits. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts I think could happen in this whole thing. Somebody pulled a clip from Bob Bowlesby, the Big 12 commissioner, who gave, like Kevin Warren did, kind of a speech before their media days began last week, and he got asked about expansion, and he poo-pooed it. He goes, I just won a $5 bet. I bet my staff that question probably come up, and he basically said, no, there's no, it may happen again sometime down the road, but it's not going to happen now, and here it is.
Well,
a week later.
And the comments that he made about the TV deal, just saying tough,
Yeah.
and that really has seemed to be, a big issue. And especially, I'm telling you, this Nebraska and Oklahoma game, which we heard Ryan Aber talking about the other night, how disappointed they were because there was going to be a lot of pageantry surrounding this game that they wanted to do all throughout the day, leading up to hopefully a 7 o'clock kickoff. And the fact that the Big 12 did not go to bat for Oklahoma and tell the TV partners, no, this game has to be at 7 o'clock. We don't care what time you want it. This is when it has to be. I think there was some disappointment there. Now, obviously, the talks were happening way before that kickoff time was announced, but there's been some displeasure in those kickoff times for a long time. And then, the season tickets, I think, is a part of it as well. The opponents and the games, the marquee games that are not happening in Norman every year and in Texas for that matter, because you're losing Oklahoma and Texas because they play in Dallas every year. So, it's going to be fascinating to see. But I do think Bob Bowlesby, yes, definitely missed the boat on this deal.
He got caught napping. He got caught napping.
And I think he's been behind on a lot of things and, has kind of been the network deal, which we've talked a lot about. Everybody kind of the envy of what was the Big Ten network for a long time. Then they created the SEC network, and then the ACC network happens. And, the Big 12 and the Pac-12 network, even though it hasn't taken off as much as, some of the other networks, they still have their own network.
Right.
So the Big 12 is really the only conference, Power 5, that doesn't have a network.
And why?
I mean,
because of Texas's network.
Yeah.
Because Texas went and cut their own deal. This goes back 11 years why Tom Osborne said, we got to get away from them. They're all about themselves, and you don't want to put your fate in their hands. And that's what everybody did in that league. And thank goodness. A lot of people today were debating, Jessica, whether Tom Osborne engineering Nebraska out of that is one of his top 5 wins of all time. And it might be.
Someone was texting me about it. I'm like, hey, Nebraska's instability right now, which is what you and I have talked about, is that, the Big 12 is very unstable right now. Look where Nebraska ended up on a good end of this deal, because they're absolutely in the more stable league now.
I had somebody in Kansas today go, what are you guys thinking up there? And I'm like, there's a lot of smiles. I go, why? Because it validates what Nebraska did 11 years ago. Get away from those guys. Get away. You just don't want to put your fate in their hands. So,
absolutely.
Steve on our text line said, to make the big splash, it's got to be Notre Dame. Yeah, I think you got to try Notre Dame, but I think they're going to tell you no.
I think Notre Dame, like we said a million times, they're not until they have to.
Right,
until
exactly.
It becomes a deal where they have to get into a conference to play a full schedule. They've got a sweet gig. They're not going to do it.
No, and I don't blame them. Really.
And aren't they contractually tied to the ACC for a certain amount of years? If they are going to get into a conference, that it has to be the ACC.
Yep, they are. All right, here's what we have on the show tonight. Coming up here in a few minutes, we're going to get into our breakdown the inside linebacker position. Barrett Rue will join us, talk about that group that suffered a horrible loss at the end of spring ball with Will Honus' knee injury that will knock him out for the season. We'll hear from Coach. Then we'll hear from Luke Reimer, who's going to be a big part of that group, who's really splashed onto the scene, the Lincoln North Star product, who's just come from walk-on to scholarship player and turned into one of the more valuable guys on this football team. We'll hear from him this hour as well. Mentioned Jason Jorgensen from KRVN, our great affiliate out in the central part of the state, will be with us in hour number 2. We'll have our Friday 5. Can't wait to get into some of those topics. Our winners and losers for the week as well headed your way. And we want your thoughts, comments, questions. Our numbers, 402-413-2400. Again, 402-413-2400 with a call or a text. If you want to call us, you do that on our Sports Nightly hotline, brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto Family, bringing you more choices in brands, locations, and service. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse. Back with Coach Rude next.
Drive your kids to ask why you have an ankle bracelet? Or your boss to see your criminal history? Do you want to miss important life events because of house arrest? Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Shop with confidence at Woodhouse Buick GMC and find your next vehicle. Our knowledgeable sales team is eager to help you find a vehicle. Plus, get you on the road faster with our streamlined sales and buying process that you can start online. New Buick and GMC models with the features you want at a smart price. Visit our indoor showroom or shop online anytime at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com. Experience the difference and shop Woodhouse Buick GMC first.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact: Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest, so you get only the highest quality beef raised on family farms here in the heartland. Where do the other guys get their beef? We're not sure either. Get the facts at meetthefacts.hyvee.com.
As the official bank of Husker Nation, FNBO invites you to take the game with you with the free Husker Visa debit card. Tied to your checking account, the Husker Visa debit card allows fans to show their Husker pride all year long. Get your free Husker Visa debit card today at any FNBO branch or visit fnbo.com/Huskers. FNBO, the official bank of Husker Nation. Member FDIC.
Touchdown, Nebraska!
If you're doing business in Nebraska, the best way to connect your organization with the excitement surrounding the Huskers is through a partnership with Nebraska Athletics.
Kaboom! Wow!
You can take your business to the next level by reaching loyal Husker fans through in-venue signage, radio advertising, digital and social media, and more.
Got it!
Join the Husker team today and email partners@huskers.com to learn more about opportunities to connect with Husker Nation. That's partners@huskers.com.
Because Ford trucks and SUVs are built to help you every day, You made Ford America's best-selling brand. And now you can get great offers on the entire Ford lineup. Come see how at your local Ford store, based on 2019 calendar year total sales. There's a Ford built for everyone, whether it's the latest driver assist technologies, room to fit the whole family, or the power you need on the job site. Ford has you covered. Head to your Midwest Ford dealers today to find great deals on the right vehicle for you.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions and drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Still waiting for your stimulus check? Don't wait for the government. Get the SOS stimulus package right now. For a limited time, get $2,000 off a qualifying York system. York products are all proudly made in the USA. Call SOS, a trustworthy company since 1950. SOS is a family-owned third-generation company. Get you and the loved ones comfortable again with SOS.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
Buckle up, put that phone down. It's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here on a Friday night edition of Sports Island here on the Huskers Radio Network. We continue breaking down the positions with the coaches, and tonight glad to be joined by inside linebacker, former Husker great Barrett Ruud. Good to have you with us here tonight. Man, did you end spring ball on a thud because of the injury to Will Honus. You just have to feel horrible for that young guy, losing him for the year.
Combination of the fact that it was the last practice of spring. We had really limited Will's reps anyway. He had done a great job coming off a groin surgery in the wintertime anyway. It was one of those, really tough moments of football. It's the worst part of football, in all honesty, injuries. So, he's still, pretty dang positive. I'm hoping he's going to be around as much as possible in the fall just to be around the guys and help out whenever he can. But, definitely a tough way to end the spring.
Our heart goes out to him. Okay, let's talk about guys that you're going to have to rely on. Let's start with Luke Reimer, a young guy from the Lincoln area that began as a walk-on that's really fired his way into the mix of this thing. What about Luke and your expectations for him? Yeah, very high expectations. I think he, a combination of his work ethic, his intelligence, natural athleticism, I think he's got a chance to be a really, really good player. And now it's just a matter of being extremely consistent. And continue just to stack days and get more and more experience because he's got all the tools to be really, really good. So now, it's just a matter of continuing to gain the reps and continuing to, progress his game. You went and found a transfer from Northern Iowa, and Chris Kolarevich, who's, man, he was impressive to all of us who saw the spring game, and you've been around him a lot more than that. What does he bring to the table, and what do you think he can do for this team? Yeah, first of all, Northern Iowa did a great job with him. So he came here really a good player, new football. It's funny because with football, it's almost like learning a new language. He knew it, but he spoke Spanish and we spoke Italian, essentially, So he had to learn the new language, but, learn a few new movements. But he's been an awesome addition to the room. Football guy. The whole linebacker room in general, they're football guys. They like it. They like talking about it. They like learning about it, like getting better. So he's fit right in, and he had a really good spring. Another guy that's been a bit of a Swiss Army knife is Nick Henrich, and when you can keep him healthy, he has really shown early in his career he can be a big playmaker for you. Tell us a little bit more about him. Yeah, he, I would say this spring, I think he was playing his best football by far. We kept him at the inside spot pretty much all spring. He had to move outside last year just out of necessity. And did a great job there. He's one of those guys that is as advertised. Was a big recruit out of high school and is exactly what we expected. And just like you said, just keeping him healthy is going to be the primary goal. Because once he's on the field, he's going to be really, really productive. Garrett Snodgrass grew up in a football family out there in York. What about Garrett? And can he be a factor either on teams maybe or with your defense? Yeah, he's going to be a factor, no doubt. He comes from a football family. His intangibles are off the charts. He is a good athlete, but his knowledge of the game,
his coachability, you know, the ability to absorb something and take it to his game right away, right to the grass, is really, really impressive. And he's going to be a really productive player for us. He's going to play, and he's going to play not only on teams but a linebacker too.
Year 2 in the program for him, and also for Va Clements, a junior college transfer from a year ago. What's the progress with him?
Va's been great. You know, he's been a guy that, you know, coming from JC and, you know, his JC team, basically his job was to blitz. You know, he didn't read anything. He just ran to the ball and hit things. And he's done a great job of learning how to play linebacker and off-the-ball linebacker, learning the system. And, you know, for him, it's kind of what we thought, too. You know, he's got, you know, he's from America Samoa, and usually those guys get pretty big as they get older. And I think he's gained 12, 13 pounds in the weight room this last offseason. So he's making big strides in the weight room. And like I said, you combine that with how intelligent he is, we're excited about him.
Let's go through some of the 2021 guys, and some have been here for a little time, some are just getting here, but let's just go through the Mackay Bears and the Randolph Kapais. What about those young guys and your thoughts about them as they make their way into this program?
Yeah, so Randolph, I'll start with Randolph since he's been here. He got here in January, and you know, he's a guy that just, you know, talk about a guy that jumped headfirst into it, and just college in general. I mean, he's always over in our facilities. Whether it's in the football offices or whether it's in the academic centers or the weight room, he's just completely absorbed in student-athlete life, I guess. And he's a guy who's extremely coachable, wants to do it the right way, is hard on himself, wants to be coached, you know, hard, and he's got high expectations. He wants to be really, really good, and you know, I think he's off to a great start. And you know, his coaches up in Washington did a great job in high school, and he's been a great early enrollee.
Went to Hawaii, found a linebacker who's just, I've been on campus a short time, so you probably really haven't been on the field with him at all, but boy, Wyndon looks like a pretty athletic kid. Yeah, athletic kid. That was a, you know, we were talking about the, you know, this last year in 2020, you had the difficulties of recruiting, you know, a guy like Wyndon, who's from literally, you know, 7-hour flight away, and he'd never seen the place, never seen us in person. And he jumped off the plane, I think, a couple weeks ago with his folks, and it was great to see him. And he's a good kid. He's a very high-energy player, very versatile player. I'm imagining he's going to do a lot of things for us in defense, probably inside and outside. And we're excited to see him get to work. Lincoln Southeast was not an 8-man football team, but you have an 8-man guy in Seth Malcolm who's a part of this team as well. What about the transition for him to making a big jump? Yeah, you know, I mean, so Seth's, you know, essentially a straight-A student. I think he's straight A's this last fall as well, and you know, but it's always different when you got to draw X's and O's up, and we're adding 3 to each side. So it's a different transition, but at the end of the day, you know, football is football, and he's intelligent, he's very athletic. And he's going to be a very high-end development guy here. I mean, he's a long 6'3.5" guy that is athletic, and I'm really excited to see how he progresses year to year, because he's made big jumps from the time he got here in January until now. So I think he's just going to keep getting better and better. Did you play with any 8-man guys in your Husker days? Scott Shanley. Yeah, Scott Shanley, 10-year NFL veteran, St. Edward's High School. So, you know, hey, if Seth ends up with Scott's career, I think we all did pretty good. Another guy that's been in the program for a while on scholarship in your room is Jackson Hanna, another guy that's kind of gone in and out with your linebacking rooms. Yeah, no, he's, and, you know, it's Jackson the same way. I think he made a big jump in the spring. You know, when he got here in the summer, I guess it would be of 2019. So he had to, you know, kind of learn the system as well. He played a little bit more outside at his high school, at Montgomery Bell in Nashville, and he's had to learn the system a little bit, and you know, kind of revamp his body a little bit. You know, drop some body fat, continue to progress in the weight room. But I thought his last spring was his best spring as well. Your room's always got a handful of walk-ons who will make plays, whether they're on teams or maybe get into a game for you late. And the name Taggy means a lot in Husker history because of his, you know, of the great Jerry Taggy, the quarterbacks for those 70-71 teams. Well, the young Taggy Grant from West Side made a bunch of plays in the spring game. What about his future for this program? Yeah, I mean, we're excited about him. We really are, you know, and he's going to play football for us, you know, meaningful snaps. So he's a guy that, you know, he's probably size-wise a little bit of a tweener size. But some guys, you know, when you have the term football player, I mean, he is a football player. You know, he's got a nose for the ball.
You can throw him in a lot of different positions, and he's comfortable in coverage. He's comfortable against the run. He can tackle and plays really hard, and then he's a really well-liked guy too. So he's got a big future around here. We're really excited about Grant.
We've gone through a lot of names, and when you first got here a couple years ago and you and I sat down to do this segment, we probably got through this in about half the time. You've really added some depth, haven't you, to this room?
Yeah, no, it's, honestly, I have a great room right now that it's a bunch of like-minded guys, and it's fun because they're all very competitive, they're all very intelligent, they all want to get better, but at the same time, they're all rooting for each other too. And that's kind of always the sweet spot you're looking for as a coach, that you want a bunch of competition at your position, but at the same time, during that competition, you want guys helping each other. And those guys are always in there together. They're not lone wolves. They're in there watching film together. So it's really a fun group to be around.
It's an exciting time. Good luck. Keep people healthy during the fall camp, and let's get after this thing.
Absolutely. We're excited.
There he is, Bear Ruud, Husker inside linebackers coach. The Honus injury, and that's the worst. Coaches just dread that in spring ball, Jessica. Getting somebody hurt that cost them the fall when the games are going on, and to have it happen on the last practice, my goodness.
Yeah, that stinks. And coming from someone that tore both of their ACLs, it's just, you know it when it happens, and it's just, you're just devastated. And the fact that, I can tell you, I battled some depression after that because it basically ended my career. And, knowing that it is such a daunting task to come back from that. The initial tear doesn't hurt, but you know that it's serious when it happens. It just, gosh, I get sick at my stomach when I see knee injuries still to this day, because you know what that means for this young athlete that's still, again, at the height of their career. And gosh, it just sucks so bad. I hate it for him.
And like you, for Will Honus, that's it. It was year 6. He took the advantage of the extra year from the NCAA, and then to have that happen, it's over. He was the second leading tackler for the Huskers a year ago. Luke Reimer's going to have a big role now. And thank goodness for Chris Kolarvik, who is the transfer from Northern Iowa, an FCS All-American a year ago for UNI, and he had a good spring. He will plug right in there along with Nick Henrich, who I think the Huskers aren't quite sure whether he's an outside backer or an inside backer, but right now the need is on the inside. So that group is fine now, but they've got to stay healthy as they get into this season. And
is he going to be around and continue to
he'll be rooting them on and that kind of thing, giving them support.
That's big, a leader like that to have a voice and still, a part of this leadership unit that we've heard a lot of these guys talk about, that they're trying to do things differently and better this time around. Still having that voice of reason will be big for some of these young guys that are still trying to find their way, because it is a huge leadership position for a defense, whether you're a freshman, sophomore, or a 6-year senior.
Absolutely. And as we mentioned with Barrett, there's a couple of incoming freshmen that will have a chance because of the lack of some depth there to maybe jump in there and be a second teamer or get some snaps on defense. So we'll see how that plays out as we go through the month of August. Mention Luke Reimer. When we come back, Jessica's going to sit down with him. Actually got caught up with him when they were out in the caves taking those pictures last week. We're back to hear that conversation next.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact: Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest, so you get only the highest quality beef raised on family farms here in the heartland. Where do the other guys get their beef? We're not sure either. Get the facts at meetthefacts.hyvee.com.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions and drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts. There is no better way to support your Huskers than becoming a season ticket holder. And a limited number of Nebraska football season tickets are on sale now. Secure your seat in Memorial Stadium for head coach Scott Frost's fourth season at the helm as the Huskers play host to Buffalo, Michigan, Ohio State, Iowa, and more. Now is your chance to become part of the storied tradition that is Husker football. To purchase season tickets, call 1-800-8-BIG-RED.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Stadium seats may have been replaced with recliners. Tailgates outside the stadium may have been swapped for the ones in the backyard. And thousands of screaming fans have been replaced by one screaming baby. The only thing that hasn't changed is us, watching the game together.
It's game time, baby.
Show off your Husker team spirit during your next virtual watch party. Visit Cox.com/Huskers to take a selfie with Herbie. And don't forget to share. Watch together, cheer together, take a selfie together, even if you're not actually together. Cox, bringing us closer.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. A new grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture is supporting Husker research in the study of multi-robot systems in ag settings. The almost $500,000 grant was awarded through the USDA's National Institute of Food and Agriculture to Professor Santosh Pitla. Pitla and his team will use the funds to further their research in the use of unmanned ground vehicles and drones on the farm.
Still waiting for your stimulus check? Don't wait for the government. Get the SOS stimulus package right now. For a limited time, get $2,000 off a qualifying York system. York products are all proudly made in the USA. Call SOS, a trustworthy company since 1950. SOS is a family-owned third-generation company. Get you and the loved ones comfortable again with SOS.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Hey, buckle up, put that phone down. It's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Greg Sharpe Jessica Coody with you here on a Friday night. Just heard from Barrett Root, Huskers inside linebackers coach, about his group as they're getting ready a week from today. First practice for the Big Red. Yeah, how about that? Next Friday, they'll be out on the practice field getting ready and getting geared up to take on the Fighting Illini. Now, last week, the guys have all scattered this week, but last week before they left, they had a little road trip here in Lincoln to go to the caves, take some pictures, and you went along.
Yeah, the couple of days, Tuesday and Wednesday, they brought in and they were doing all kinds of shoots for the posters and the starting lineups and just all the different media entities that you need. And so bringing in, I don't know how many, if it was the 2 deep or, 3 guys per position, but for Luke Reimer, it was his first time getting to do this. Well, last year, COVID, they didn't really do any of this, but he was a walk-on guy before that, and then now getting to be one of the guys that they're going to look to play a big role. He was definitely one of the guys they wanted there to be able to do all this media stuff with. So, got a chance to sit down and talk with him. If you're watching on our live stream on YouTube, it's gonna look like a weird background because we are in the cave doing this, and you'll see kind of the guys in the background taking some photos and stuff. But you could tell how much it really meant to him. That's kind of the first thing I asked him was, how does it feel to get to be a part of this thing this year?
It's pretty awesome. I mean, you see, like, when you're in high school and stuff growing up, you see these videos, so it's just cool to be a part of something like that.
Yeah, growing up in this area and watching this coming to games, I mean, you think about all the guys that have been on the video board, been in the starting lineup. I mean, how special is that to you?
No, it's an honor for me, honestly. Coming from a walk-on too, it's just very special to me to be a part of this group. So.
Yeah, let's talk about that. You could have had offers, you could have gone elsewhere, but you wanted to come here and walk on. Why did you make that decision?
I just wanted to push myself, and I knew like I could go to smaller schools, but I feel like I could play at this level, and I just bet on myself, and it turned out well for me. So,
how did that pay off? I mean, you bet on yourself. What did you do to earn that scholarship?
I mean, just what you're expected to do. Just show up on time and just put in the work that's required to be excellent at this level, and that's just what I did. So, I mean, that's how it paid off for me.
It's one thing to, earn a scholarship. It's another to earn a pretty big playing role. So what has that meant to you to not only, be on scholarship, but to be trusted to make a pretty big impact for this defense?
No, I mean, I love playing football. I love doing what I do. I can't imagine doing anything else right now. So I'm just kind of living a dream right now. It's a great time.
Yeah, I've seen some videos, and you look like you just love being out on the football field. What is it? Why are you so passionate about playing this game?
It's just I've done it since I can. Like, my first memories are just playing football with all my brothers and stuff in the backyard. So now it's just I get to do it on the biggest stage. So it's just a dream.
How much pride do you take to run out onto that field in that uniform, being that you're from Nebraska, you're a Nebraska kid, but then also you had to work to earn your spot out there, a little bit different way than some people do?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's all an honor again. Like, you just don't see my story happen very often, coming from a walk-on from a super small school down in Kansas, moving up here and walking on, and you just don't see it very often. So it's just an honor for me to live out a lot of kids' dreams.
So now that you kind of have earned that role, what's been your approach to this summer? Has it been different at all for you? How you're kind of going into this summer in particular?
For sure. I mean, it's just more keeping my body healthy is the biggest thing right now. Just like making sure I listen to my body when there's things going wrong a little bit. Just make sure I take care of my body is the biggest thing I've taken this summer versus the last couple summers.
And what about on the field this year? What steps do you want to make for this defense personally?
I want to be a more vocal leader for sure on the defense, and like being more confident in my calls that I make, and being able to set the defense how it should be set.
What about and playing that linebacker position? So much studying, goes into it. How do you approach that? It's one thing on the field stuff, but the off the field stuff. How do you go about that?
I'm blessed with a great group of inside linebackers, and we all have the same mindset of we get in there, we watch film together, we do everything together. So I'm just really lucky to be a part of a good group of guys that we know the standard that needs to be done, and we just do that standard. We hold each other to that same standard. So.
And how much do you guys take pride in, kind of setting the tone, kind of being the quarterback of this defense?
Oh, I mean, that's what we do. So it's just and again, it goes back to the other group of guys that I'm with. Like, we all just feed off of each other and feed off each other's energy. If one guy's just not having the best practice, we lift him up, and vice versa. So it's always good to have those guys on my back.
With so much talent and experience returning for this defense, what are your expectations? Or what is this, you guys as a whole, what are your expectations for this defense?
I mean, we can be as good as we want to be, honestly, because we have guys come back for the 6th year, so they know the ins and outs. Like, they know everything. Like, there's nothing they don't know, and they haven't seen. So it's just going to be we can go how far we want to go right now. So I'm really excited for this season to see where we can go.
How does that change what you can do in fall camp, being that you have so many guys that have kind of been there, done that, been through it? You can maybe push it maybe a little bit more. How does that change what you can accomplish in fall camp?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like guys know their spots, but that doesn't mean there's not competition now. Like, there's 4 or 5 guys that can really play for the inside linebackers, and so you're like, you just don't know if your spot's going to be taken because the guys right behind you is just playing just as good as you. So you always have to bring it. And so that's just the beauty of it. Like, when we have that deep of a group, like, you don't know if you're going to be starting or you don't know if you're going to be 4th string. So it's a great competition. It's just for the better of the team too.
I was gonna say, how much does that make you at your best when you have to do that?
Yeah, 100%. Like, because the guys behind you aren't making the mistakes, and like, you have to clean up your mistakes. You always got to be on your game. So.
Last thing for you, being how much this program means to you and what you've gone through, how excited are you to run out in front of a full capacity crowd inside Memorial Stadium?
Yeah, no, it's going to be a good time when it sees 90,000 or whatever it is. Like, it's going to be a surreal experience versus my first year. Like, I just played special teams, but this year I'm actually playing meaningful snaps, so it's going to be a good time.
So if you were watching on a YouTube stream, you saw the backdrop, but the videos, I've seen a few of the snippets of it. It looks really awesome.
Great decision to take that out there.
That's Nick Burkhart, by the way.
Yeah,
So
well done.
Great
Luke's
idea.
a playmaker, Jessica. He missed 2 games last year with injuries. That's been the bugaboo for him, is he's got to keep himself healthy. But he had a couple of sacks last year. He had 5 tackles for a loss. He's a missile all over the field. He uses his quickness. He's got great instincts. If he stays healthy, he's going to be one of the better linebackers in this conference, and that's saying a lot for a guy that walked onto this program. I'm excited for him. I think he needs a little haircut. I mean, speaking from a guy who's follically challenged, that's a lot of hair he's got on that thing.
I know, and that's important to have guys like that. It just means something different to run out onto the field, and he's had to earn it in a different way than it was just given to him. But yeah, second on the team in sacks, third in tackles for loss. I mean, and again, I wasn't with this team a year ago, but I've been going through a lot of the video, kind of putting together some videos, pieces, and editing. And you could tell just how much it means to him, just the passion that he plays with, kind of reckless abandon a little bit. Just he's not afraid to hit some people.
He plays 100 miles an hour. I know Coach Root is a big fan of his. Just got to stay healthy for Luke.
And you heard him talking about that. That's a big focus for him to get his body right so that he can stay on the field.
Right. This is a physical league. It's hard to stay healthy, and with a conference game right out of the gate, it'll be a big physical game in week 1. Good stuff there with Luke. All right, phone lines are open for you. If you have some thoughts about that linebacker position, 402-413-2400. Back with more of the show next.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Husker fans, looking for a seat in Memorial Stadium? Custom 3-game mini plans are available now for only $195. Choose any combination of the 6 games available. Matchups available in the 3-game plan include the home opener versus Fordham, Buffalo, Northwestern, Michigan, Purdue, and Iowa. Don't miss this opportunity to join the greatest fans in college sports and help fill Memorial Stadium. To build your mini plan, visit huskers.com/tickets or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED. Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Still waiting for your stimulus check? Don't wait for the government. Get the SOS stimulus package right now. For a limited time, get $2,000 off a qualifying York system. York products are all proudly made in the USA. Call SOS, a trustworthy company since 1950. SOS is a family-owned third-generation company. Get you and the loved ones comfortable again with SOS.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
Want to get all the latest Husker news straight to your phone? Need to be the first of your friends to get the scoop on all things Huskers? Sign up for text alerts from Nebraska Athletics. Text Huskers to 83200 to get game time notifications and updates, breaking news, special ticket offers, and more straight to your phone. All the Husker news is just a quick text away. Just text Huskers to 83200. Standard text messaging rates apply and may vary by carrier.
402-413-2400. Final few minutes of hour number 1 here on Sports Nightly. Talked inside linebackers tonight with Barrett Root and Luke Reimer. Will continue spinning around the team on Monday. Greg Austin, Husker offensive line coach, will join us, and Cam Jurgens, who was put on the Remington watch list earlier today, one of the 40 centers in college football to make that prestigious list, named after the former Husker great Dave Remington. Well, I put this in the ticker earlier. I've got some buddies who are really big Cleveland Indians fans. Jessica, they are not happy with the name change of that franchise going to the Guardians starting next year.
Yeah, my brother's best friend has been a diehard Cleveland Indians fan his entire life, and he's not happy either. I had a group message with him, and he said that he wished they would have just named him the Cleveland baseball team.
Just like what the Washington football team did. Yeah, it's going to be hard to do. And
What's the mascot going to be for a Guardian?
They've got it. There's a design out there. You can find it on social media.
What's the mascot?
Oh, that I don't know. And do you have to dump the Major League movies? Can you even show the Major League movies anymore? That have been so popular for all these years. I don't know. Those might be banned as well. Let's take a caller. Let's go to Maxwell and Randy. Good evening, Randy. Welcome to Sports Nightly.
Well, thank you, Greg and Jessica.
Hey, Randy.
Hey, Jessica. You were an athlete because you said you had a knee injury.
Yes.
What sport did you play?
I played basketball.
Oh, okay. Did you play any softball in your teens and as a kid?
I played a little bit, but so funny story because I asked my dad this. My brother played baseball and basketball, but I showed sheep. So he said that since I showed sheep, that was my second sport. So I quit going into my 7th grade year, and I only played basketball. I play golf now, though.
Well, good for you. So you showed Suffolk sheep.
Yeah, I did have some Suffolk and some Dorsets and Shropps and Hamps and all those. I showed all the breeds.
Well, you go. What I was asking, this is tournament time, state tournament time for girls softball.
Yeah.
And I was kind of hoping you played some traveling softball because it still bewilders me why girls softball does not have a pitch count.
Yeah, I do have a cousin that played Division I at Kansas, actually, and she was a catcher. And, that it's not as taxing on the arms, but it's still on your body, though. It's still a lot.
That's what they say. I have a daughter that she was a great pitcher, but it tore up her forearm. It was very hard on her forearm. I think it would be good for the game because instead of having one girl pitch 12 games in a tournament, you would have to have 4 or 5 girls in a long tournament like baseball has.
Yeah.
And I think it would keep more girls interested in the game.
Yeah, and a lot of times you see that how one team is dominated with one dominant pitcher, but if you have to rotate it, it might make things a little bit more interesting too. But yeah, I'm with you. They say that it doesn't hurt the arm, but I've definitely seen that it does. It's kind of crazy. You think that might be coming at some point, especially too, given what we saw at the Women's College World Series this year and the kind of the complaints by some of the teams that it was too hard on them to play that many days in a row.
How tall are you, Jessica?
I'm about 5'8".
Oh, so you were a point guard.
I was a shooter. I was a 2-guard.
Okay.
I played off the ball.
Well, bless your heart. Hey, welcome to the team, and I enjoy the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for calling in.
Great point. I mean, you wonder why that sport hasn't gone to more of a pitch count type thing, but the powers to be don't seem to want to put it into play.
My cousin was a catcher, and she didn't have a backup. She had to have Tommy John because she threw it too much the other way, back to the pitcher.
Overhand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's got to at some point, especially how hard they're throwing and the different kind of they're throwing different pitches now. It's not just straight gas all the time and change-ups. It's got to catch up to them at some point, for sure.
No doubt. Hey, Randy, appreciate the phone call. That's going to wrap up Hour 1. Great to hear from Barrett Root. Also good to hear from Luke Reimer. Coming up next hour, we'll have our Friday 5, the 5 big topics of the week. We'll get into those. We'll also talk to Jason Jorgensen from our great affiliate, KRVN, out in Lexington to get his thoughts about what he observed in Media Day. All that coming up. Don't go away.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Touchdown, Nebraska!
If you're doing business in Nebraska, the best way to connect your organization with the excitement surrounding the Huskers is through a partnership with Nebraska Athletics.
Kaboom! Wow!
You can take your business to the next level by reaching loyal Husker fans through in-venue signage, radio advertising, digital and social media, and more.
Got it!
Join the Husker team today and email partners@huskers.com to learn more about opportunities to connect with Husker Nation. That's partners@huskers.com.
Did you ever buy something and get more than you expected? Emeritus offers insurance, employee benefits, and financial services, but we deliver so much more. The comfort of a human voice when you need it, the confidence of flashing a beautiful smile, the relief that your family can keep living the life they love, the serenity of knowing you've planned well and can enjoy life. That's what we really deliver. We call it fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services, and much more.
Stadium seats may have been replaced with recliners. Tailgates outside the stadium may have been swapped for the ones in the backyard. And thousands of screaming fans have been replaced by one screaming baby. The only thing that hasn't changed is us, watching the game together.
It's game time, baby.
Show off your Husker team spirit during your next virtual watch party. Visit Cox.com/Huskers to take a selfie with Herbie. And don't forget to share. Watch together, cheer together, take a selfie together, even if you're not actually together. Cox, bringing us closer.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. With a combination of strong academics and affordability, UNL offers an excellent educational value. This year, the university was named one of the Princeton Review's best value colleges. And the new Nebraska Promise and Career Scholarship programs are connecting more hardworking Huskers with financial help so they can pursue their dreams.
Good evening. I'm Greg Sharpe, and here are tonight's Sports Ticker headlines. A couple of Huskers have been named to some preseason watch lists. Center Cam Jurgens put on the Remington Trophy list. That award named after former Husker great Dave Remington, given out to the top center in college football. Jurgens is one of 40 centers to be named to that list. Also, Husker tight end Austin Allen is put on the 2021 preseason John Mackey Award list, given out to the top tight end in college football. Allen had 18 catches for 236 yards and a touchdown in the abbreviated 2020 campaign. The Big Ten's Media Days now in the books. 7 schools were in Indianapolis today to talk about the upcoming season, including the team picked to win the league, the Ohio State Buckeyes. Jason Jorgensen from KRVN, one of our great affiliates, was in Indy. He'll join us later in the hour. The opening ceremonies of the Tokyo Olympics took place earlier today. Several sports have already started, but the bulk of the games will get underway tomorrow. Starting in 2022, the Cleveland Indians will now be known as the Cleveland Guardians. The name change follows the NFL's Washington football franchise doing away with their moniker of Redskins a few years ago. Check now the Major League Baseball scoreboard. One afternoon game, the Cubs beat the Diamondbacks 8-3. Games underway. It's the Nationals leading the Orioles 1-0 in the 4th inning. The Braves and Phillies knotted at 1 in the 3rd. Cardinals and Reds tied at 2. They're in the 2nd inning. Tampa Bay leads Cleveland 4-3. That in the 3rd inning. The Mets have jumped ahead of the Blue Jays 2-0. The Padres 3. The Marlins 1. Bottom of the 3rd. The Yankees have a 1-0 lead on the Red Sox in the 3rd inning. About to get underway, the Royals and Tigers, the Rangers and Astros, the Angels and the Twins, and the White Sox and Brewers in the battle of first-place teams in Milwaukee. Later tonight, the Pirates will visit the San Francisco Giants, the Colorado Rockies in L.A. to take on the Dodgers, the Oakland Athletics in Seattle to battle the Mariners. Those are tonight's headlines. I'm Greg Sharpe.
Live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly on the Huskers Radio Network, bringing you the best Husker sports experience.
Kubik sends a pass, made Gonzalez. It's over the net. Shut back by Stivrins. It's in. They did it. Match point, Big Red. 15-10 in the 5th. Fighting back from the abyss, down 2 sets love. Nebraska claims opening night against Ohio State. 15-10 set 5. My goodness.
Lauren Stivrins is a great leader, and Lauren was talking to those guys through when we were struggling, and she got them to change their mindset. And then I think Lexi led the way, and Nicklin, and so those are the guys that got to do that. Then it was fun to watch. We played Husker volleyball.
Sports Nightly is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down. Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
All right, we're back. Final hour of the night, final hour of the week here of Sports Nightly here on the Huskers Radio Network. You've made it to your another weekend, folks. Your another summer weekend ahead of you. Hope you get out and take advantage of these hot weathers. Go to the lake.
Hopefully they're at the pool. It is hot.
At the pool. Yeah, it is hot out there.
Is it going to be this hot for fall camp?
It's going to be hot most of next week. Now, they don't practice till Friday, so football coaches don't mind a little heat,
no,
though, right?
It's good. It's
and Scott Frost practices in the morning. So
yeah.
They'll be out there at 8 a.m. before the heat of the day.
Hydrate.
Before the heat of the day gets there. We got a busy hour coming up. We're going to have our Friday 5, pop you some big topics in our eyes for the week and kick those around a little bit. We'll hear from Jason Jorgensen from KRVN. He was in Indianapolis and viewed the last 2 days of the Big Ten Media Days. We'll get his take on what he thought were some of the highlights. And we'll have our winners and losers for the week coming your way at the end of the hour. We'll leave some time for you to jump on board as well with a call or a text. Those numbers, 402-413-2400. All right, the Friday 5, lead us off.
Oh, let's see. I guess I'll go with a little breaking news that happened that's been continuing to develop over the last 48 hours. Texas and Oklahoma supposedly, allegedly, quote unquote, headed to the SEC. It seems all but a done deal as word leaked out after a Houston Chronicle report came out that they had been in talks with the SEC. And as we move along and are now at the end of the week, it appears that it is a done deal. So crazy times happening in college athletics.
Jessica, I don't know that I'm more surprised that it's happening or that we didn't know about this. I think I might be more surprised that it was kept secret for 6 months.
I know. It's like, which one? But yeah, the fact that nowadays everything gets out.
Everything.
Everybody has a source and a leak, and maybe they're unnamed sources, but it gets out. And, you know, also, too, you start thinking about, this is another thing that I thought about immediately, how it didn't get out, because for Texas and Oklahoma and their recruiting, hey, we're about to go play in the SEC. You know, if football coaches and, you know, other sports coaches knew at both of these universities, you'd think that'd be something that might be dropped in a recruiting pitch. We're about to go play in the SEC.
Yeah, and I said this in hour one. I think ESPN's fingers are all over this. I think that because they have been running the Longhorn Network and losing money with it, they have the SEC Network, and I think that once they caught wind that this could be a thing, I think they put themselves in the middle of this deal and helped push it down the road. CBS Sports' Dennis Dodd, good friend of the program, is saying that something could be officially announced in the next 24 hours about this thing. So I think this thing could be a done deal before we get back on the air on Monday. It may not be totally tidied up yet, but I'm anxious for the fallout. What do those schools that are left behind do? What does the Big Ten and Kevin Warren do?
And I do want to mention we've had several texts on the text line and then also on our YouTube chat asking and pushing for Notre Dame. But we've talked about that. Yeah, that would be the big get. But Notre Dame probably not going to make a move until they absolutely have to. They have too sweet of a gig. And they are also in a contract with the ACC that if they were to join a conference, I think it's in the next 15 years, it would have to be the ACC. So unless other dominoes fell that allowed Notre Dame out of that deal, which I guess you could always be bought, right? You can always buy yourself out of it. But technically, the ACC has some contractual obligations with Notre Dame, but I don't think Notre Dame is making a move until they have to either.
Totally agree. I think that they will hold out, and particularly with the playoff going to 12. Notre Dame's like, we got it. We got it made. We'll just go in there and keep our playoff share to ourselves.
Keep making all this money from NBC. And
Absolutely. All right, next topic. This was a story that fascinated me when it happened, and that was the space flight the other day by Jeff Bezos, Blue Origin, where they took off from this pad. They went up in space. Then the rocket part of it dropped away. The capsule went on up into space for a couple of minutes where they were able to float around. And then the rocket part, this was just amazing to me. It came straight back down and landed basically on a bullseye that they had put in the desert. Then the capsule floats back down. They had parachutes out. They landed. Number one, how amazing do you find that? Two, would you take one of those flights, and what kind of check would you write to take one?
I absolutely would do it. But I would need a sponsor. I would need a donor to help me out with that. But no, what day was that happened? You were pretty geeked out about it.
It was Wednesday, I think.
Yeah, you were pretty pumped when you came in talking about it. I would do it, absolutely. But I don't know. I mean, how much do you think he wrote? Did we know how much he paid to get to do that?
Yeah, it was millions. Now, the other billionaire, Branson, who had his flight up a couple of weeks ago, he's charging $250,000 for a seat. And his flight takes longer. It's about a 30-minute ride. They didn't get as high up into the atmosphere as the Bezos rocket did. But he's openly saying, I'm going to sell seats on this for $250,000.
Would you do it?
Absolutely, I would do it. I would not spend that much money, but I would.
If you had it, you would.
Yeah, I would. It's incredible to me. I think it's the next 20 years. I think this is going to be almost commonplace. I think these are going to be going up every couple of weeks. They're going to be flying these people up.
And then maybe the prices will go down and down and down, and maybe I can get on one of these days.
I think it was the whole dynamics and how this thing went up and came back down. I couldn't believe it. It was incredible. That for me was one of my 5 of the week.
So I went with Olympic softball. Softball back in the Olympics. People tweeting out they had waited 13 years for this moment. In fact, 4,717 days since Japan beat USA, upset them in the loss in Beijing in 2008. But how about the OGs, Kat Osterman and Monica Abbott? Kat Osterman is she's quickly approaching 40. 38. Yeah. And in game 1, she goes 6 innings, 9 strikeouts, 1 hit, no walks. And then Monica Abbott comes back. She goes 7 innings, 9 strikeouts, just 1 hit. The issue here, which we talked about, they only won 2-0, 1-0. So they're not scoring many runs, but as long as those pitchers keep dealing the way they're doing, they're not going to have a problem.
I have a couple questions about this. One, why is it only a 6-team field? That baffled me when I heard that. I mean, I know there's more countries than 6 that play softball. And then the facilities, really, it just looked chintzy the way they did that. But tremendous pitching. That team can really pitch. If they can't score, though, that's going to hurt them at some point in time. You're going to lose a game because you can't score.
And I think it's Monica Abbott that plays in Japan, and a lot of her teammates, they did a feature on her that a lot of her teammates are playing for Team Japan. So you got to think they know her a little bit too, right? Like,
absolutely.
They've seen her in practice and have watched her in games, so they're going to be a little bit familiar with her when they play eventually, maybe potentially for the gold medal.
Absolutely great to have it back, though. To get the ball bat sports back in the Olympics is huge. The baseball team has not yet played. One of the baseball players is one of the flag bearers for the USA at the opening ceremonies. All right, my next topic, I'm going Olympics as well, but I'm going women's soccer. The loss by Team USA, snapping a 44-game streak, and they got dusted. They got beat 3-0 by Sweden, who's one of the better teams in the world. But Team USA, who had not lost an international match since 2019, 44 straight international wins, gets beat. My question to you, will they come back and still win the gold?
I think they can. I mean, that's what they do. It's in their mind. But there is something to be said about, the target being on your back and all of these teams gunning for Team USA because they've kind of been the darlings for so long. But that's what they do. They win. They know how to win. They've been there. They've done that. They know, what it takes to win in these types of competitions, whether it be the World Cup or in the Olympics. So I think they can win, absolutely, but they better get in gear in a quick way.
They play in about 12 hours. They'll play New Zealand. Their pool is Sweden, them, New Zealand, and Australia, so they'll play everybody. There are 3 pools of 4. They'll go to the quarterfinals, so they only eliminate 4 teams out of the first round. They'll definitely make that. The gold medalist in 16 was Germany. They didn't make the field, so they got eliminated because they didn't play real well in the World Cup in 2019. So they're not even back to defend their gold medal title. So you got to go back to 12.
It was a huge upset too.
It was. You got to go back to 2012 to see the U.S. winning the gold medal in the Olympics, and to get beat 3-0. Maybe it's the wake-up call they needed. Maybe that's what happened.
I'm with you. I think that's definitely, they're going to get it together and they're going to go on a run, and we're going to continue to cheer for Team USA Soccer winning gold. My last storyline, NBA Finals. Mm-hmm. I made it very clear I was for the Suns, and I wanted a Game 7, but awesome for the Bucks and the city of Milwaukee. We saw the Deer District. What'd you call it? The Deer
Crossing
Creek or Deer District was hopping and had a lot of people out there.
I heard 60,000 people were there. Is that right?
Crazy.
Could that be right?
Probably. It looked like it. I mean, it looked like a ton of people. There was a lot of questions on if there was any beer left in Milwaukee after that celebration. But to win a title for the first time in 50 years, and how about the performance from the MVP, Giannis, a finals MVP, drops 50 points, and then goes and orders 50 chicken minis at Chick-fil-A.
How cool is that?
Hey, we have winners and losers coming up, and Giannis tweeted, hey, does this get me free Chick-fil-A for life? And Chick-fil-A has not tweeted in 4 days. They're missing out on some huge marketing opportunities.
They sure are. I'm a bigger Giannis fan, I think, than you are. I just love his game. I love the spokesman. I wish he was the face of the league, because the way he carries himself, the way he conducts business, he's been fantastic. So I was really glad he won it.
I do have a great appreciation for someone that stayed with a team like Milwaukee, didn't join a super team when he had the opportunity, didn't want it lingering over him. He went ahead and signed a deal when he could have held out, got a lot more money potentially, but he wanted to lock it up and wants to win there and doesn't care about going to play with LeBron James and the Lakers in LA and being in some huge market. I have a great appreciation for that. So I do appreciate that. I really wanted to see Chris Paul win a finals but I can't appreciate what the Bucks did, and there is not going to be an asterisk on this win either, which we've talked about.
Absolutely not. His whole story, his background, coming from nothing to make himself one of the premier athletes in the world is just an amazing
And to do it on
story.
both ends. A lot of times if they're just an offensive player, they can't be bothered playing defense, but here he is winning a defensive MVP, you know, a best player in the league playing on the defensive end and still getting it done on the offensive end too. Like, I mean, a lot of people don't want to play a two-way ball.
You're right. You know, I was watching one of those ESPN morning shows, and you know those shows where guys are just yelling back and forth at each other, and they were trying to push back on the super team thing, going, "Oh, come on, the Bucks are a super team, Middleton and Holiday." I'm like, no, come on, those are good players, but those are not Lopez. They're all not prime players like what
It's
LeBron
not Anthony
has done.
Davis and
Or what Brooklyn
LeBron
did.
James or
With Harden and Durant and those guys. That's not that.
and Kyrie or you know the Clippers as well with Paul George
Right.
and Kawhi and all those guys. Plus, didn't Chris Middleton come in? Weren't they drafted together? Or they were pretty close. I saw a picture
That
of
might be
them
right.
that was right when Giannis got drafted. They were young. They've been together in Milwaukee for a while. I need to look that up. But they didn't just come together. I think they've been playing together in Milwaukee for a while.
50 years since that franchise had won the title. Amazing stuff. All right, there's our Friday Five, some of the 5 big stories of the week, and I had to throw in there my Blue Origin flight up to space. That to me was the coolest thing of the whole week. All right, need to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk Big Ten Media Days. Jason Jorgensen from our affiliate KRVM will join us next.
Do you want your date to wait for your interlock device to let you drive? Your kids to ask why you have an ankle bracelet? Or your boss to see your criminal history? Do you want to miss important life events because of house arrest? Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Because Ford trucks and SUVs are built to help you every day, you made Ford America's best-selling brand. And now you can get great offers on the entire Ford lineup. Come see how at your local Ford store, based on 2019 calendar year total sales. There's a Ford built for everyone, whether it's the latest driver assist technologies, room to fit the whole family, or the power you need on the job site. Ford has you covered. Head to your Midwest Ford dealers today to find great deals on the right vehicle for you.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts. Husker fans, stay up to date with the most current and latest news by following the Big Red on Facebook and Twitter. These social media homes provide the fastest daily updates on everything surrounding NU athletics, including game results, ticket promotions, and Husker prizes. Log on to also follow several sports-specific pages and Husker head coaches. Become a fan today at facebook.com/Huskers and twitter.com/Huskers to join and interact with thousands of Husker fans around the world.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Stadium seats may have been replaced with recliners. Tailgates outside the stadium may have been swapped for the ones in the backyard. And thousands of screaming fans have been replaced by one screaming baby. The only thing that hasn't changed is us, watching the game together.
It's game time, baby.
Show off your Husker team spirit during your next virtual watch party. Visit Cox.com/Huskers to take a selfie with Herbie. And don't forget to share. Watch together, cheer together, take a selfie together, even if you're not actually together. Cox, bringing us closer.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. On May 7th and 8th, Nebraska celebrated its largest May graduating class in university history. 3,594 degrees were awarded to Nebraska graduates in ceremonies at Pinnacle Bank Arena and Memorial Stadium. Along with receiving their diplomas, graduates also heard inspiring speeches from notable Nebraskans, including legendary coach Tom Osborne.
Still waiting for your stimulus check? Don't wait for the government. Get the SOS stimulus package right now. For a limited time, get $2,000 off a qualifying York system. York products are all proudly made in the USA. Call SOS, a trustworthy company since 1950. SOS is a family-owned third-generation company. Get you and the loved ones comfortable again with SOS.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact: Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest, so you get only the highest quality beef raised on family farms here in the heartland. Where do the other guys get their beef? We're not sure either. Get the facts at meetthefacts.hyvee.com.
Buckle up, put that phone down. It's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. We're back here on a Friday edition of Sports Alley on the Husker Sports Network, and delighted to be joined by Jason Jorgensen from KRVN, our great affiliate out in the central part of the state. He's been in Indianapolis the last couple of days, soaking up all things Big Ten football. Jason, how are you?
I'm pretty good, Greg. Yourself?
I'm doing well. Let's start with the Huskers. How did they handle themselves, and what kind of vibes did you get from Scott Frost and the players?
Well, I thought they came in and they really owned the struggles that they've had the last couple of years pretty well. There were no excuses that I heard from him or the three kids that came with him. They owned it. They said they've been their worst enemy. Those of us who watched them play would certainly agree with some of the mistakes and the mishaps we've seen out of the Huskers. So I thought they did a really good job there. Now, 4 years ago, Scott Frost was the hot thing in the Big Ten, and he was followed by all of the reporters that were there. 3 years ago, Nebraska was picked to win the West, and Nebraska was still a hot item. Other than the Nebraska contingent, and Nebraska normally has the biggest contingent, or one of the biggest contingents there for Big Ten Media Days, I didn't see a lot of regional writers or national guys really following Nebraska. So I think the Huskers are a little bit under the radar, and you would expect that when they're picked where they are to finish the season in the West.
It seemed like Trev Alberts got a lot of the headlines from the week as well. Did you get a chance to listen in on the new athletic director?
I did. I was part of that mob, and that was kind of a homecoming for him there to come back to Indianapolis. I like the approach he took. Now, I know some Husker fans still want to, fight old battles with the Big Ten, but at some point you got to move on. And Trev really came in with a conciliatory attitude, I thought, of, hey, we know we haven't always agreed with how things have gone in the past, but we're looking forward. And yes, the Big Ten hasn't always been the best in Nebraska, and you can make the case, hey, the Huskers have gotten a raw deal here or there, but would you like to be Kansas or K-State right now? I mean, the forethought 10 years ago to get Nebraska in this league really looks good right now.
Okay, you kicked that door down. How much air did it suck out of the 2 days hearing all the Texas-Oklahoma talk?
It really dominated. You couldn't go 5 feet without hearing it. And the big question is now, how does everyone react to this when it eventually does go down? But, yeah, I'd have to say it was NIL, which I think I've heard enough NIL questions, responses, that will be burned into my soul for a while. And then right after that, it was all of the talk of OU and Texas potentially moving to the SEC.
Busy again with Jason Jorgensen from our great affiliate KRVN out in Lexington. I want your take on the commissioner. He gave the opening speech yesterday. We had someone on last night who was there as well and just said he didn't feel like he rose to the occasion. What was your take of Kevin Warren's presentation?
I've seen plenty of these over the years, probably close to 20, a lot of different commissioners. And when you go back to the days when we went to the Big 12, it was certainly different, Greg. It had a different tone to it. He kind of filibustered, I thought, a little bit. It didn't deal a whole lot with football. It dealt with bigger things outside of football and some plans that he has to try to push through. I'm glad I was able to ask my question. I didn't think there were a lot of tough questions aimed his way, not that he answered what I asked, but it was different. it really had a different tone to it, and I can't say I've ever heard a conference commissioner get up and give that kind of a speech.
Almost like a politician, wasn't he, in some ways?
It was. I thought it was one of the more political speeches that I have heard from a commissioner ever give, and he doesn't think he did anything wrong. And I asked my question if he had any regrets and did he understand why folks were upset. And in his world, and he's the boss, he thinks every button he pushed last year was a good one.
Yeah, I think he'd get some pushback on that. Again, visiting with Jason Jorgensen from our great affiliate KRVN out in Lexington. Let's go back to the Huskers a little bit. Did you feel like you got some answers about this upcoming team, or did you get more questions put in your mind after you heard them?
A lot of the same stuff. I mean, we've heard this before, having a way that they know they need to, quit being their own worst enemy, make sure that they take care of what they can do. I did think it was interesting listening to Ben Stilley. I wandered over there for a while, and he was asked, about the problems that Nebraska's had and with the program, and he flat out said, he goes, we have enough talent. And he ought to know. He's going into his 6th year. He's seen a lot of guys come and go in his time being a Husker. But he said, we have enough talent to win. Talent is not the problem at Nebraska. And I thought that was an interesting take to come away from him. But Scott Frost, he owned it. I mean, they didn't make any excuses. They're not upset with where they're picked. As he said, that we're picked where we deserve to be with what we've shown in the past. But I thought that was an interesting quote from Ben Stilley.
Jason, I felt bad for Mike Loxley, the Maryland head coach. Nobody asked him a question.
They didn't, and it was even crazier. If folks don't realize, of course, you and I have been to plenty of these, you have the podium thing that everybody sees on TV, and then after that you break down, and they have coaches and players at different spots. Greg, I walked right up to him, and there were just 2 other Cub reporters there talking to him. Maryland traditionally doesn't get a whole lot of love at these things anyway, but yeah, he had a pretty easy day. You wouldn't have known that he's kind of got the Terrapins headed in the right direction.
Crazy. All right. Usually after I leave a media day, there are a couple of teams that I go, man, I think they're better than I thought they were going to be, and there are a couple of teams that I think are going to struggle more than I maybe thought going into the event. Does anybody come to mind to you that fit either one of those categories?
Here's the thing that I'm looking forward to seeing. Everyone had to deal with all of the issues from COVID. They affected all of these programs differently. Indiana, Maryland, and Rutgers all made some headway in one way or another. Indiana certainly broke through, was ranked in the top 10, and did all of that. I'm interested to see, are they good enough to continue that? Does Rutgers now have kind of a foothold with Greg Schiano, and will they make this league tougher and better than it's been? Or will they drip back and be what they've been in the past? The same way with Minnesota. P.J. Pleck, he can talk a great game. And of course, they had all kinds of other issues they were dealing with in the Twin Cities. But did they step back for a reason, or are we going to see them come back and play the way they did a couple of years back? That's one of the interesting things to me when you look forward to this season. You could make the same case for Michigan and for Penn State. They had very unlike those programs type of years. Was it due to COVID, or will they bounce back and be what we've seen?
Interesting. You mentioned Rutgers. Former Husker Noah Vedral was brought by Greg Schiano, the quarterback now for the Scarlet Knights. Did you get to listen in on him at all?
I did. He's a good kid, and you wish the best for him. I asked, Greg Schiano if Noah's been everything they thought they'd be, and he was glowing with his praise of him. So best of luck for Noah. If you're going to transfer, you hope that it works out kind of like it did for Noah. He got to a place, he's going to have a chance to play, he goes in as a starter, and hopefully he can continue to help them improve.
Do you think he regrets leaving Lincoln at all, or do you think he's content?
I think he's content. If he had any regrets, I didn't hear any today, and would be forthcoming and would he give those at that location? I doubt it, but he's got a chance to be a starter in the Big Ten, and there are not too many kids from the state of Nebraska who can say that.
Yeah, good for him. All right, you got Loper duty coming up soon, right? How the Loper's going to be?
I think the Lopers are going to be a factor in the MIAA. If they can find a way to slow down some people, they're going to be right in the mix. That speed option offense that Coach Josh Lynn runs, I love calling the games when they do that, and it could be a big year in Kearney. They got to keep the quarterback, TJ Davis, healthy, but the Lopers could do some serious damage this year in the MIAA.
Nice. When's the opener, and who do you play?
We're going to open up against Missouri Southern in Kearney. The MIAA always kicks off with a lot of Thursday night games, and that's one of the best atmospheres we get in Kearney every year. So September 2nd, at home against Missouri Southern. They've got a new coach coming in. That program has had a lot of problems with just stability at the head coaching position. So a really good chance for UNK to get up to a great start.
Fantastic. We wish them the best of luck. Jason, thank you so much for filling us in, and travel safe getting back.
Hey, Jason.
You bet.
Jessica says hi.
Yes. You bet. So we missed you here. So hopefully your crew can be here next year. There's talk that it goes back to Chicago next year, and then maybe they might put this in Indianapolis. Lucas Oil Stadium, they did a wonderful job hosting this event.
Fantastic. Be safe, my friend.
You bet.
There he is, Jason Jorgensen, joining us on our Sports Alley Hotline, brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto family, bringing you more choices in brands, locations, and service. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse. He mentioned Lucas Oil Stadium. That's the national championship game.
That's awesome.
How about that?
Yeah.
He'll be there in January.
I just think it's cool where you have media days where the season starts and then where things end at the end. You know, you're seeing at the Big 12, Jerry World, that's where the Big 12 championship is, and the Big 10 championship has been played there as well. So it's cool that you're starting the season, talking season, and then you got to go prove it and be there at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, first time I can ever remember that they took it out of Chicago. Chicago is fun, though, this time of year. A lot of great restaurants in Chicago to go.
I've never been to Chicago, and it's on my bucket list.
It is a great city to go visit, and certainly with Big Ten games. And Husker fans love going there every other year when we play at Northwestern. They just take over that town. All right, need to take a break. Come back. Phone lines are open for you, 402-413-2400. Call or text. We're back with more next.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Experience the highest levels of luxury at Woodhouse Lincoln, the Metro's exclusive Lincoln dealer. Our dedicated sales team is ready to guide you to your perfect vehicle. With a lineup of unique crossovers and SUVs, Lincoln offers insightful technologies, connectivity, and interior amenities, while you experience the highest sales satisfaction among all luxury brands. Visit Woodhouse Lincoln at 144th and Giles Road or online at woodhouselincoln.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Do you want your date to wait for your interlock device to let you drive? Your kids to ask why you have an ankle bracelet? Or your boss to see your criminal history? Do you want to miss important life events because of house arrest? Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Touchdown, Nebraska!
If you're doing business in Nebraska, the best way to connect your organization with the excitement surrounding the Huskers is through a partnership with Nebraska Athletics.
Kaboom! Wow!
You can take your business to the next level by reaching loyal Husker fans through in-venue signage, radio advertising, digital and social media, and more.
Got it!
Join the Husker team today and email partners@huskers.com to learn more about opportunities to connect with Husker Nation. That's partners@huskers.com.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact: Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest, so you get only the highest quality beef raised on family farms here in the heartland. Where do the other guys get their beef? We're not sure either. Get the facts at meetthefacts.hyvee.com.
Nebraska Athletics are hiring event staff for the 2021 home football season. Our #1 requirement, be passionate about Husker football and ready to provide the ultimate fan experience for the greatest fans in college football. As part of the event staff, you serve Husker Nation and check out live game action inside Memorial Stadium. Apply right now and help kick off the Husker football season by working the Garth Brooks concert. For more information and to apply, visit huskers.com/event staff. Go Big Red.
Stadium seats may have been replaced with recliners. Tailgates outside the stadium may have been swapped for the ones in the backyard. And thousands of screaming fans have been replaced by one screaming baby. The only thing that hasn't changed is us, watching the game together.
It's game time, baby.
Show off your Husker team spirit during your next virtual watch party. Visit Cox.com/Huskers to take a selfie with Herbie. And don't forget to share. Watch together, cheer together, take a selfie together, even if you're not actually together. Cox, bringing us closer.
Still waiting for your stimulus check? Don't wait for the government. Get the SOS stimulus package right now. For a limited time, get $2,000 off a qualifying York system. York products are all proudly made in the USA. Call SOS, a trustworthy company since 1950. SOS is a family-owned third-generation company. Get you and the loved ones comfortable again with SOS.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
Buckle up, put that phone down. It's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Greg Sharpe Jessica Coody with you. If you want to be a part of the program, here are the numbers. 402-413-2400. Call or text. We can get you right on the air. Dave in Omaha, very impressed, Jessica, with that you showed sheep. He said, we're a show family, too. You have to be one of them to truly understand the dedication it takes. Welcome to Nebraska. How about that?
I know. I love it. Show family. I mean, I definitely understand. You're talking about getting up to feed in the morning and at night, and you got to work them so that when you get out in the show ring, they know how to brace and work for the judge. It's a lot. So, yeah, you got to be one to know it and understand it. But I spent my whole life doing it, and so I appreciate that text, Dave. That's awesome.
Very good. Dave, appreciate it. Thanks for popping in there with us as well. We talked expansion throughout the night, and one of the interesting things that I saw a little bit ago was that if this ends up happening for the SEC, that they're talking about breaking into pods, four-team pods, where you would always play your pod and then rotate around who you play to fill out your schedule. What do you think of that concept?
I don't love that, actually.
That's NFL-like to me.
Yeah, and I've seen that from multiple people. I don't know if the SEC knows how they're doing it. I think they're just trying to make it happen first, and then we'll figure it out. And who knows, maybe it will change once they start it, and they might have 2 divisions and then go into pods. But I don't know, because you also have some teams in the SEC that are really bad, right? So, like
Vanderbilt.
How do you balance? How are you going to keep those pods where it's not like some of the NFL leagues where it's kind of a joke and you could, win 4 games and win the division? Like, I'm not for that. So if you're going to do the pods, even it out to where, I don't know, it's not just like 4 really bad teams like A&M and Missouri and Vandy and somebody else,
then you could have one with Auburn, Alabama, and I mean, you could. The imbalance of it wouldn't work, I don't think.
I mean, because how do you get away with, like, if you're doing it by location? Well, certain locations might have, I don't know. I don't love that, but I don't know if I definitely think that you're going to have too many teams where it's not going to work with divisions either.
Jason Jorgensen, who was on our last segment, one of the nicest guys on the planet, he was kinder to Kevin Warren than I think you and I were.
Yeah. I kind of felt bad a little bit last night, but I also had...
Well, look at our text line.
I know that, and then I had multiple people text me. A couple people not from the Big Ten and a couple people that were within the Big Ten that talked about how disappointed they were about not learning some of the things that they were hoping to learn. So then I was like, okay, maybe I wasn't too hard on him.
I thought Scott Docterman last night had it perfect when he just said he didn't rise to the occasion of the moment. That's a great way to put it. You kind of need your leader at that point to hit, and like you said, he's had months to get his answers prepared on a couple of these things, and he just didn't seem like he was.
And I get the conference shakeup happen, and we don't know, and you can't say a lot of things either on that front, but the COVID protocols and what's going to happen if a team can't field a team. You know, what's going to happen with that? Are you going to try to play games later in the season? Is it going to be a forfeit? The SEC had answers for that when they went into media days. We still don't know because they're going to, you know, get in all the information from all the schools and then come up with a plan, I guess, in a couple of weeks when we're, you know, 36 days away from kickoff. That and then, you know, the college football playoff. That's been a conversation that's been going on, the expansion to 12 teams for 2-3 months now. Why did you not have an opinion on that as well? So those were my two issues that you knew, and you know every commissioner knew that those were going to be two things that were going to be asked about going into it.
It's part of the tradition of media days. It's the one moment where the commissioner is front and center in front of the conference media that covers each school on a daily basis. So you know it's your kind of time to shine and your time to put your stamp on the league. And it just was not, it wasn't all there yesterday for the commissioner. So that's kind of a missed opportunity for Kevin Warren, is what it was
said last night. Did not deliver in the moment. Wasn't that the verbiage that was said? Did not deliver in the moment. Did not live up to the moment.
Who we got? Somebody in Axel. Is it
Royce? We got Royce.
Hey, Royce, welcome to the program.
Yes, my question is this. He was appointed. Who appointed him, and how do you unelect him?
Yeah, he is appointed by the chancellors and the presidents. They had a committee. They interviewed candidates, and he was chosen and voted on by the presidents and chancellors of the universities. And so he works at their behest, and so if he were to be excused of his duties, it would have to come from them. Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. He works at it's just like Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner. He works for the owners. The owners hire him. They can fire him. Same thing with this. Where are we going next? Is that Clark?
It's Carla. And Carla, I think, if this is the Carla that texts in, I'm happy that they're calling.
Hi, Carla.
Hi to both of you. My question on Kevin Warren is, he was so touted coming to take over that position, and he came from, I think, wasn't it the Timberwolves? So I'm just like,
Vikings.
What was it, do you think, that they could possibly have seen that if that was a selection, he really hasn't risen to the occasion, I don't think, to take over this I think it's a prestigious position. So I was just wondering what your thoughts were for both of you.
Yeah, I mean, I just came to the Big Ten, but I've, again, from an outside looking in, last year did not think that the way that the whole season was handled was good at all. And you think maybe coming from an NFL team, maybe some people thought that would translate into college athletics. I don't think that is a good transition, in my opinion, because it is so different. And even though people are, like we were just talking about the SEC trying to push it towards maybe being more like the NFL, it is not like the NFL yet. So, but maybe they thought, oh, this is someone with NFL experience, maybe this will be beneficial for a conference, when you start talking about one of the premier college football conferences.
Carla, yeah, he was with the Vikings in the NFL, and I think, a lot of people spoke pretty highly of him, that he had done a good job. He wasn't the general manager, but he was in their front office, and I think he'd been on the Big Ten's radar for a while. So I think Jason even said it, that in the earlier segment of this hour, that he just didn't seem like he wanted to make much of a stance on any topic yesterday. And Jason was one of the ones that got one of the questions up to him yesterday at the podium. But he just didn't seem to have much concrete answers for anybody to any of the topics that he knew were going to be brought up in this whole thing.
But what we were talking about too, bringing on Barry Alvarez could
be really
hopefully be beneficial for him. Someone that's been in the Big Ten, understands winning in this league, and staying at the forefront of college football, and being a premier league in college football and whatnot. Hopefully that will help as well, and giving him somebody to lean on and trust in some of these decision making processes moving forward, especially when you start talking about potentially adding teams to a league.
This is a dicey time right now for college sports. It's not a good time to have a little wobbly leader at the top. Carla, appreciate it. Thanks for the phone call.
Carla.
Good to hear from you. Call us back again sometime. Love to hear from you as we move through our Friday night show. NBC replaying the opening ceremonies. I got up and watched it live this morning. It was on between...
You told me you were not going to.
Well, but it came on later than I thought. It was on from like 7 to 9 or 9:30 before it got over. So I got a chance to watch it live while I was enjoying my morning coffee. So, yeah, I enjoyed it.
It looks weird, though, without the people that, they're waving. And who are you waving to? It's
right.
But at least they're doing it again. It's not normal. And I think it's a messaging that a lot of these athletes will say, at least they're playing it. It's different, but we're getting it done.
Yeah, it was. It lacked energy at times, and it's. I don't want to spoil it for people that are getting ready to watch it tonight, but there was an oddness to it that they couldn't help without doing that. Let's go to Omaha next, and Tom. Good evening, Tom. Welcome to Sports Night League.
Hey, my big question of the day is the SEC going to handle up on Texas with them controlling their media, their, you know what I mean, where they cover everything on the television and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so I just wanted to throw that at you and let you go with it.
All right,
Thank
Tom.
you.
Yeah, thanks. Texas will have to give up their Longhorn network. That will have to go bye-bye. They'll have to fold in with the SEC and be a part of the SEC network. So they're going to lose that one thing that was certainly a wedge in Nebraska's stands with the Big 12 is that Texas had that ability to have a national network and nobody else benefited from it. They will have to surrender that.
Which I've read of several articles that have talked about that was a positive for this deal as well, and Texas moving in to the SEC is that it's ESPN, the Longhorn Network is ESPN, the SEC Network ESPN, so you kind of kill two birds with one stone where you're getting rid of, I think, like we talked about earlier, ESPN wants to get rid of the Longhorn Network, and I think Texas has seen the error of their ways and how this has kind of been thorn in the side a little bit and trying to get rid of it as well and move forward without it.
It created a wedge, there's no doubt, and it was certainly a big part of why Coach Osborne and Harvey Perlman, the chancellor at the time in Nebraska, decided to make the move and accept the offer to go be a Big Ten school. And a lot of people feeling pretty good about that decision around here this week. All right, need to step aside, get a break in. Our last break of the night. We're back with our winners and losers for the week. That's next.
Go where the summer leads you during the Season of Discovery sales event at Woodhouse Mazda. With a full lineup of CUVs, we are sure to have one for you. From the 2021 Mazda CX-30 to the family-friendly Mazda CX-9, our sales staff is here to help find the perfect model for you. With a suite of features, you can expect more with Mazda at a price that is good for you. Test drive one today at one of our 2 convenient Woodhouse Mazda locations in Bellevue or Omaha, or shop online today.
Stay up to date with the most current and latest news by following the Huskers on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and more. These social media homes provide the fastest daily updates on everything surrounding Nebraska athletics, including game times, results, ticket promotions, prize giveaways, and more. Log on to also follow several sport-specific pages and Husker head coaches. Join today and interact with thousands of Husker fans around the world. Visit huskers.com/social media to see all of our accounts. Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Back to adventures in technology. Oh no! Our IT hero is dangling from a mountain of open IT tickets, ready to plunge into the abyss of overtime. But wait! It's Marco's Managed IT to the rescue with a lifeline of 24/7 network and user support. Our IT hero is saved! A quick selfie with Marco's Managed IT team, and our hero is back to work. For more successful Managed IT adventures, go to marconet.com.
Husker fans, the 2021 athletic season marks the beginning of mobile tickets for Husker sporting events. Tickets and parking passes for all sports will be available for download in your ticket account on the official Huskers app. It's a safe and easy way to guarantee your entry into some of the most exciting sporting events around. Simply download your ticket from your ticket account or the Huskers app and save to your mobile phone wallet before you leave home. Scan at the gate and enjoy the game. Go Big Red!
Stadium seats may have been replaced with recliners. Tailgates outside the stadium may have been swapped for the ones in the backyard. And thousands of screaming fans have been replaced by one screaming baby. The only thing that hasn't changed is us, watching the game together.
It's game time, baby.
Show off your Husker team spirit during your next virtual watch party. Visit Cox.com/Huskers to take a selfie with Herbie. And don't forget to share. Watch together, cheer together, take a selfie together, even if you're not actually together. Cox, bringing us closer.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. Nebraska is one of the best schools in America for student Fulbright scholars. 2021 marks the 4th time that the university has been named a top producing institution by the Fulbright program. Of the 30 Huskers who applied this past year, 10 were offered the prestigious Fulbright. An additional 16 Huskers were named semifinalists.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Touchdown, Nebraska!
If you're doing business in Nebraska, the best way to connect your organization with the excitement surrounding the Huskers is through a partnership with Nebraska Athletics.
Kaboom!
Wow! You can take your business to the next level by reaching loyal Husker fans through in-venue signage, radio advertising, digital and social media, and more.
Got it!
Join the Husker team today and email partners@huskers.com to learn more about opportunities to connect with Husker Nation. That's partners@huskers.com.
Final few minutes of Sports Nightly here on a Friday night. Our Sports Nightly hotline has been brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto family, bringing you more choices in brands, locations, and service. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse. Time for our winners and losers of the week. Lay them out there for me.
Well, are we starting with winners or losers?
You pick. It's the beauty of this.
I'll start with the winners. And Major League Baseball and the YouTube game of the week on Tuesday between the Rays and the Orioles. The first time ever it was an all-female crew that called the game. The broadcast crew was play-by-play analysts, the field analysts, the two ladies that host the pregame show, all women for the first time in history. And I just think that's so important. And a lot of them, Melanie Newman, who is the Orioles play-by-play, I think she's fantastic. And she was the one that was on play-by-play. And they've talked about, yeah, it's a big moment, but we want this to not be a big moment moving forward, that this continues to be a normal thing to see women in these roles. You know, you've heard me talk a lot about, giving women a platform in athletics. So I love it. I think it's awesome. And huge shout out to YouTube, Game of the Week, and Major League Baseball for allowing that to happen.
Cool. How about your loser?
Loser, I didn't know if I should go with the Big 12 or Texas A&M. A co-loser.
Yeah, maybe both.
In the same story. So Texas A&M trying to block Texas and Oklahoma going into the SEC, and it doesn't sound like they're having much luck at all. They're trying to pull out all the stops, not happening. But the Big 12, they had no idea this was coming, and they're kind of, trying to figure things out and scramble and make things happen as Oklahoma and Texas seem to be bolting for the SEC.
Very good. My winner, Trev Alberts. I think he had a fabulous first week on the job.
Love that.
I think the pivot to give people the option for tickets for football games this fall was right on the money, and yet telling the people we are eventually going to go digital, but if you still want the security blanket of having that ticket, you can do that. And then I think he was great yesterday with the media in Indianapolis. I think he did a really good job. I think he was there to support Scott Frost. I think he played that role perfectly. I also want to give a honorable mention to Monty Williams, the head coach of the Phoenix Suns. Did you see him go in the locker room of the Bucks after they lost?
I did. That was so cool.
That was great. That was really cool. My loser, the Olympic softball fields. That just gnaws at me that they couldn't find a better facility in Tokyo to play those games on and make it a true softball place. It's pulled me down all week because of that.
Yeah, I mean, at least they're playing, but I know that's going to be the baseball field as well. But yeah, it does not look good on television.
It does not. All right, have a great weekend.
You too.
Thanks to Jessica and Mike and all of you listening tonight. Enjoy yourself. We're back with another show with you on Monday. Good night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
As the official bank of Husker Nation, FNBO invites you to take the game with you with the free Husker Visa debit card. Tied to your checking account, the Husker Visa debit card allows fans to show their Husker pride all year long. Get your free Husker Visa debit card today at any FNBO branch or visit fnbo.com/Huskers. FNBO, the official bank of Husker Nation. Member FDIC.
Because Ford trucks and SUVs are built to help you every day, you made Ford America's best-selling brand. And now you can get great offers on the entire Ford lineup. Come see how at your local Ford store, based on 2019 calendar year total sales. There's a Ford built for everyone, whether it's the latest driver assist technologies, room to fit the whole family, or the power you need on the job site. Ford has you covered. Head to your Midwest Ford dealers today to find great deals on the right vehicle for you.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Shop Woodhouse Chevy Buick in Missouri Valley, Iowa, and experience the Woodhouse difference, where our sales staff is here, ready to help you find your perfect new car, truck, or SUV. And with over 100 new vehicles on our lot with more arriving daily, we're sure to have something for you. From the Buick Encore to our heavy-duty trucks, we have the best selection available. Find new roads and shop all of our inventory and offers at WoodhouseChevy.com or visit us at our dealership for a test drive today, making car buying easier. This is Woodhouse.